Welcome guys to another video. So for this video we're going to be talking about Seer and basically just describing and breaking down how good is Seer. Is he even viable? Is he worth all the hype that everybody's been talking about? Now Seer has so far always been, after his first nerf, has been bottom of the barrel, just like a lot of common characters. Typically, mostly any character that does not have any movement tends to not have a lot of viability or isn't picked in general. If you aren't actively being able to push fast, you tend to not be a part of that pick rate. Just like Catalyst, just like Crypto, even Valkyrie, who technically should be at the top, but because of her terrible kit and how they nerfed her movement so much, she's not viable, which is crazy because she is a very good movement character. I know a lot of players that love to use Valkyrie, but they just tore her down to the ground. They need to get back and fix that. Now, ever since Seer's buff, he has hit, at one point, he was a 10%er. He was really up there, you know, with the buff. Now he kind of dropped down into like a no even spot. He's at 6.4. I want to project that he's gonna drop down to 5%er because his buffs aren't bad. I think they're actually pretty balanced. He's not strong when he's not in his ultimate. Yes, he can weed out a lot of rats, which is great. If it's like 3 teams left in the game, there's a random rat, you can actually, try to pick him off, get that second place, get those extra points, or just, start, hunting down players that are just trying to survive. But I personally think he will drop down to 5%. I don't think he's super strong. Now, one thing that people aren't noticing or even talking about is that as much as people are, glazing Seer right now, most of them are not getting out of gold lobbies. Now, this is because you're running Seer, and I'm assuming your other two players that you match up with are probably running movement characters. This leads to a lot of hard fights because you guys don't have anybody to defend. You have 2 movement characters and then you have a scan character. Yes, his ult is strong, but once it's destroyed, you kind of have a slower Seer. Yes, you get the double jump, you get all that stuff in his ultimate, but when you're going up against real sweats that get rid of his ultimate as fast as possible, he's kind of useless. You don't really notice that because everybody's like, the only people that are really playing him are playing Seer are the ones that were dedicated to Seer in the first place. Now, unless you're playing with a player that's really good at handling any character and doesn't mind switching around and can play any legend, Seer, to me, is not that strong. Now, if you considered matching him up with players like Ashe and Bangalore, that's a very aggressive team, meaning you have to keep up with their energy, to keep up with their flow. But let's say if you decide to go more control or scan position, where you guys want to fight, you'll take some fights, but you want to also be in control of your area, your specific place. You can always go for a Catalyst, or you can go for Caustic, even swap those out and get Watson. If you're trying to hold down a house, those are probably the best ones. I have been seeing Rampart's been in and out. She's been getting in and out of the number 1 pick rate. She's actually just as closest to being down in the dumps with Catalyst. Now, even though most people opt for using Fuse, this would actually work very well for Seer. I don't see enough Fuse Seer comps, which is great because if you have Seer and you have Fuse, him scanning everything, having so many knuckle clusters and grenades can really help weed out a team, especially when you have Seer, but you don't see that. Now, let's say if you want to go for more of a hybrid type of deal. Now, you have Alter to get backs and create rifts if any mistakes are made, and then you can always push in for having a Pathfinder for grapples and getting your teams in and out as quickly as possible as an escape route or as an aggressive push to get you guys back into the initial fight after resetting. I feel like Seer is not too strong. I feel like they found a way to put him in a very good spot, and at the end of the day, it depends on what team you put him with. At the end of the day, it's different compared to Ashe, who can kind of get herself in and out of scenarios pretty fast, or even Revenant can get himself out of scenarios pretty fast. These both are good all-around characters, whereas Seer, if you don't have the right movement or you don't have the right mindset when using him, he's practically useless. But players that have been using him and have been figuring out the best ways to use him have been doing pretty well. he has a 570.66% pick rate right now, which a week ago, well, obviously he was at 1,000% at like 10% pick rate. But if you guys think otherwise, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Is Seer as strong as everybody says he is, or is he just being hyped because of his nerfs and his buffs? And if you guys want to talk more about these things, let me know in the comments, because I want to kind of dig into Mad Maggie, because she's actually higher than Seer, and it will be pretty awesome to talk about later.